Now that we have our question laid out, we're going to go on and answer it. So we have our plan, picture plane, horizon line, ground line, two vanishing points drop down onto our horizon line. So now we can go ahead and answer our question. Okay, so any edge that's on the drawn, in this case edge A, anything that's on the drawn, or anything that's up against the picture plane is a true height. Okay, so only any line that touches the picture plane becomes a true height. Okay, so we're going to deal with this kind of two separate sections. We're going to deal with this first box, if you like, here, and then we're going to deal with the bigger one at the back. Okay, so for that, I know the height of this edge, the height of my edge A. Okay, I know the height of that. I know that from my drawn, that has a height there 25, and the apex, that has a height of 40. Okay, so that's what I'm going to deal with first. I'm going to lay out this part first, and then I'm going to lay out the back part separately. Okay, so we're going to bring our edge A. So just get my set square. So our spectator looks at our edge A. Where it strikes the picture plane, we can just drop that straight down. Okay, and I know that is going to be a true height in my perspective view. Okay, so that's my line drop down. So that's my ground, so I'm measuring from there up. Okay, so the height of that line, I have that point on the ground right there. Okay, so the height of that up is a height there of 25. Okay, so that's the height there of the front corner or my edge A. I can now put in my line here and my line there. This one is sloping to vanishing point 2, going that direction, and this lad here is sloping back towards vanishing point 1 in that direction there. Okay, so that's going to vanishing point 2. Slope it back nice and lightly, and slope this one back nice and lightly back to vanishing point 1. Okay, so when I now want to locate, I'll say this edge and this edge here. Okay, I'll locate the points that are on the ground first. Okay, so nice and easy, the spectator looks at those points. So looks at this point, cuts to the picture plane, just drop it down. So we're getting the image just projected onto the picture plane as the spectator is looking at it. So that's that point. So you can heavy that lad in there. And the one for the front, the spectator at the very start, he already looked at it for his cone of vision. Drop it down. So that's that edge there on the ground. Okay, this will have another one of high. That point there is at the same height as that, so we can just vanish that straight back. Okay, to vanishing point 1. Okay, that's my other point then on that. Okay, so I can heavy that in. Use my set square, my t-square where possible. Okay, so that's that edge put in. And the same thing for the height one over here. It's going to be the same height as this. Of course, in our drawn, we just vanish it back, and that'll locate the height for us. So that's it there. Okay, so I know the apex on this front section here. Okay, so that point, that has a height there of 40 millimeters. So I can put that straight in on my vanishing point, on my true length line. Okay, which is this line here. That's the only one touching the picture plane at the moment. So I can put in that height, 40 millimeters. Okay, and it's going in this direction, so it's going to vanishing point 2. So I slope that back to vanishing point 2. So that's the height line now for my apex. And I want to know whereabouts along this height line the apex goes. So the spectator has to look at it. And where it cuts through my picture plane, the same story, I just drop it straight down. Okay, so a lot of these lines that I have here, they're heavier than I normally would put in. I just want you to be able to see it on the camera. Drop it down. So that's it there. There. Okay, so this line then going back along the top, it's obviously the same height as this. Okay, and it's going sloping in that direction. Okay, or going in that direction. So going in that direction, therefore vanishing point 1. Okay, so that's the top of my ridge board, if you like, or the ridge of my roof. Okay, so the spectator has to look at that point. Our spectator sees that point on the picture plane. Again, Same story, we can just drop that down. So that's it there in my perspective view. Okay, so there's that little bit on the outside. That's that more or less completed. Okay, of course the floor does travel back along, so look, we'll do that as well. Okay, going back that direction. It is open. That much of it. And the same for the top of the wall. Again, we're going to see that much of it, but just put in the full projection line nice and lightly back to VP1 there. Okay, so the examiner knows that you know it vanishes back, that you're not just putting in a line randomly guessing it, but that you show its projection way back to VP1. Okay, so there's the outside, okay, the smaller part of the drawing actually done. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the bigger part. So there's more or less more of the same, except none of this now at the moment is touching the picture plane. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to make an edge. We're going to transfer an edge of this onto the picture plane. Okay, so for that, I'm just going to use a pink pencil for the moment. Okay, so I'm just going to transfer that edge onto my picture plane. Okay, so that's it there now, hitting my picture plane. So now I'm going to have another edge as such. That's going to be a true height edge. So basically I just have to get in that edge there and transferring it down to my picture plane. That's it there. And I can drop that down now to the ground. And I can now measure along that line there my other true lengths or my true height and vanish them back. So just put that nice and clear. Okay, the pencil should be that little bit sharper. Okay, so now I have another height line, the same as I had here, where I put my heights on. I'm just going to put heights now on this one here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is we can see this comes out of here, going that direction. So that's obviously going that direction to VP2. So right from that point, I can slope towards VP2. Okay, so the other part of the building is coming out of here. So I'm going to deal with that there now. So that corner on the ground first, so the spectator looks at it, cuts to the picture plane there, and we can drop that down into our perspective view. Okay, so that's my point on the ground. So I can heavy in that bit of it. Make sure I'm in projecting right back along, right back to VP2. And now I want to put in the height. So I'm going to mark the height on that new height line from the ground up. Okay, so I'm going to take the height of this point, which I know from my question is 35 mil high. That's the height of that. So I can just measure 35 mil. New line that I put in. Remember, I projected, I continue that edge to hit the picture plane. So measure up a height of 35. And being projected back in that direction, back to VP1. So I'm going to do the same with that height there. I'm just going to project that back as far as VP1. And where that cuts, that line going up, that's the height of that wall. Okay, along that projection line. Okay, and that's just the projection line that I got when the spectator looked at that point, cut to the picture plane, and then I just dropped it down. So that was my height. So that's my full height projected back. Okay, project back this now back towards VP1 as well. So that's all the edge going down along the ground. Where that finishes is there, cuts to the picture plane, and I drop it down. There's a line along the ground. Okay, and also the back edge of this. So I have the front, I have that there. I also have this line going back along here. Okay, we can see that's it going back along the line up here. That'll be there. And just use your T-square and your set square to make sure that you're doing them perfectly vertical. And there is a change in direction in it, so this edge is heavy. Unlike here to here, there was no change in direction. Here there was, so we had an edge. Top of the wall, and this is the top of the bigger wall at the back, and we're going to slope up to our roof now in a minute. Okay, so when we've that done, we can now mark on the height of our apex at the very top. So the height at apex is 35, so that's 55 altogether up from the ground. Okay, so I have this marked already, the height is 35, so I can just go an extra 20 from there, and that's it. So again, that's on my true length line, because remember we projected it down to hit the picture plane, so it became a true length line. And again, it's projecting back in that direction. Okay, so we can project it back to VP1. Okay, so I have my height line there now. You can see it running down along, going right through that point and vanishing to VP1 and coming up there. Okay, so where the spectator looks at it, where it cuts through the picture plane, we drop it straight down. So it is going to be directly above this one. Okay, because that's looks like the same point in plan. So we'll cut through it. We drop that down. So that's going to be our point right there. So there's the front edge of our roof going up along. Just that edge there. Okay, we're going to locate the other one there now. So for that one, again, we can just, it's directly across from here. Okay, and that's going to VP2. Probably won't see the other corner, but we'll slope that back to VP2. Okay, so the spectator looks at that point. Cuts through the picture plane just to the left of corner A. Edge A. We drop that down, and that's where that cuts that line going across. Okay, so that's done. We vanished. That's our cut, so we won't see because it's kind of behind, just a tiny bit behind that roof. Okay, but we can still put in this edge here until we hit that roof itself. Okay, so we're looking at it. Okay, so that's it sloping back across our vanishing point 2. So that's kind of it behind the roof. So that bit there we won't actually see. So you put that in nice and tight. Okay, so we can heavy in this until we hit that back apex. Okay, so until we hit and locate that point. So again, all we have to do to locate that point is the spectator looks at it in my drawing, picture plane, just drop that straight down. So that's my point there. I can heavy in that, and I can slope it back down to my wall. Okay, so there's the back of the building done, and we now have a little bit of a window cut out of the building that we need to put in there now. Okay, I have the location of this and this in plan, or do I? I have it 17.5 in from each side. Okay, so we have it there 17.5, 17.5. That was given on the plan for the location of the window, and we have the height of the window. Well, it's in line. It's in line with this, so we know the height of it as being 25 to the top of it, and then it's 15 mil deep. We want to locate the sides of it there first on our drawing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to locate this line and this line first in my perspective view. Okay, so it is marking it out on my plan. 17.5 from this side and 17.5 from that side. Yes, that's 17.5. That's 17.5. So that's the location of it. So again, the spectator will look at that. So it's actually just about in line, to more or less bang on in line with this back point. Okay, and you look at that one there as well. Again, where they cut through the picture plane. can just drop them down. Drop down. Okay, so it's somewhere in between this line and this line here. Okay, so window is somewhere here in the building. So I have my line for one edge. Wait for me there, hold on. I have my line for one edge there. And I have my line for the back one also. Okay, so the two of them went down slightly crooked, so that's something you need to make sure of, because my T-square wasn't flat against my board. There. There, that's heavier now than I would like. And somewhere down along there. So we can see that kind of outline there. What I want to do now is put in the top line and the bottom line for it. Now I know the top line, the window, is in line with the top of this wall, which is a height of 25. So remember, that was my true height line for the back section of the building. So I'm just going to mark up that 25 on that. Yeah, and I just project that back along, which is actually already done for me. That's the top of the window. And the bottom of the window is, it says in the drawing, is 15. Okay, I got that when I scaled it down, that's 15 mil deep. So it's not from the ground up this time, I'm just measuring from that 25 down a height or distance of 15. So 5, 10, 15. And again with that point, so I measured down 15 this time. This is the height for the top of the window. So for the bottom window, we went down 15 and we're shooting it back along again. So that's that there in between the two sides. I'm making heavy in the two sides of the window. Both here and here. Okay, and that is my perspective view. Okay, more or less completely finished. Now they have that window open. Okay, so we will see kind of the bottom edge of that floor as it goes to vanishing point 2. Okay, so the bottom edge of that floor goes that direction. That's going to vanishing point 2. Vanishing point 2, and we will just see that as it cuts through the window there, like so. See that one going back along now, it's in line with the top of the window, and I won't see this one either through here, it's too low. Okay, so that's my perspective view completely finished.